Not usually. I mean, usually the Huntmaster of the Fells doesn't show up unless they're also on a Restoration Angel type of bent. But here we see the Miser's Huntmaster replacing a Gorklan Rampager at the 4 spot. Maybe just to give him, maybe it's a response to yesterday to the popularity of Red Green. Just giving him a little bit more mid-rangey game plan, you know?
Yeah. So Josh winning the die roll, he starts the game on a Stomping Ground. Alex does have a 1-drop. This is going to be Stromkirk Noble.
Now, does Morton play at Sittner's store?
I believe so, yeah. So Sittner's store is Oasis Games. It's actually right by the convention center, just 3 blocks away. Yeah, Alex owns the store, and apparently Josh is one of the regulars at his store.
Now, Josh is on a Mull to 6 and appears to be missing white mana. Oh no, he has it in his hand. He's sandbagging a little bit here.
Yeah, makes a turn 2 Scavenging Ooze, but that's going to meet a Pillar of Flame. Alex will swing in with the Stromkirk Noble, puts Josh down to 19, and the Stromkirk grows to a 2/2.
So Josh decides to commit a Damarati to the board. It looks like his alternative was to take 2 damage and to play a Voice of Resurgence. But it looks like he wants to find something a little bit bigger.
So he pluses the Domri, it goes to 4, he finds an Avacyn's Pilgrim off it. And now Alex, he has a choice. He can, if he commits his whole turn, kill the Domri Rod. As we saw there, plays a Mountain, tried to play a Brimstone Volley at first, so shows a little bit of his hand. Is his whole turn, and he decides that his whole turn is worth the Domri right there.
Yeah, I think at this point, he just wants to stop whatever Josh is doing, and if that means burning... Oh, he even gets to advance his board a little bit more, though.
Yeah, with Rakdos Cackler, with that remaining mana.
Yeah.
So we see from Josh Morton, he's going to play that Avacyn's Pilgrim he drew. He's going to Mizium Mortars the Stromkirk Noble. He's left with 2 cards in hand, one of which is a Thundermaw Hellkite.
Yeah, definitely a solid collection of cards. He's got Voice of Resurgence, I believe, is the other card, right?
I think it's a Gorklan Rampager.
Oh, Gorklan Rampager, wow.
So interesting, so if his mana creature gets to live, he can play for Hellkite. And if Alex takes the turn to get rid of the mana creature, Josh still has a pretty good play in the Gorklan Rampager.
Absolutely.
I think Josh is sitting in a pretty good spot here.
That makes Josh's turn 3 Damarati play look pretty good, actually, then.
Yeah, I think
that was a Rampager, not a Voice.
Yeah, I think Josh is at 19 right now. He took the 1 hit off the Stromkirk Noble, but by and large he has his whole life total to work with.
Right.
So,
and the Cackler, not the biggest clock, but the fact that Alex did not attack the Mutavault indicates that there is more to come.
Yeah, and remember, Alex's deck is really teetering between a red deck wins and a burn deck. For his spells, he is playing 17 different damage spells.
Wow. So he's definitely hoping to keep Josh off of Thundermaw, but it looks like he's not going to be able to.
Yep, that shock hits the mana creature, but a 5th land is Castig Wolfron actually for Josh Morton, and he plays Thundermaw, hits Alex down to 15, and actually takes the lead in the race.
Wow, this is a pretty aggressive move. What do you think about attacking with Thundermaw here? Does he just figure that if he blocks, it's just going to get burnt anyway?
Well, so he has 2 options. He can either try to race the mono red deck, which is what he's doing, or he can try to block it. I think when you see things like Brimstone Volley in Alex's hand, I think blocking becomes a little unenticing because you know Alex has more cards than you. He's eventually going to remove your creatures. I like racing here, especially when you have a Gorklan Rampager and a Castig Wolfron. But Alex accepts the challenge to race here. He plays a Chandra's Phoenix, swings with the Cacklers, puts Morton down to 11.
Dude, I love how fast he plays.
Yeah.
This is like a lightning pace.
And Thundermaw looks like it's gonna swing again to put Alex down to 10. If he actually Wolf runs here, I think he can turn this into a 2-turn clock. Yeah.
Now he's not dead to the board. This is interesting. He's not dead to the board because that's only 8, but he can win on board. But yeah. he's concerned because he would lose to any burn spell. Yeah, he decides instead he wants to play a little bit safer.
Yeah, so he shifts gears to the defensive, plays the Gorklan Rampager, does not attack with Thundermaw. Remember, Sittner, we know, has a Brimstone Volley in hand. It looks like he has at least one other land, and I believe what is a Stonewright in his hand.
Interesting. Stonewright could potentially make a relationship with somebody and have them both have fire breathing.
Yeah. So Stonewright actually hasn't, a card from Avacyn Restored usually only sees play in mono red decks.
Yeah, for the most part, just to get full value out of its ability, the double fire breathing.
Yeah. But I do.
And usually only a mono red deck is desperate enough for 1-drops because other people have things like Elves or Gravecrawler or just a variety of 2-power creatures.
Right. Well, there's a lot of other options at 1 mana. You have the Cackler, you have the Stromkirk Noble.
Yeah, you really want to. It's for somebody who wants a 3rd 1-drop but doesn't play black or white or green.
Right, so that's, pretty much just mono red. So we see from Alex a swing of just Rakdos Cackler. And then he plays Stromkirk Noble. What do you make of just the single Cackler swing there?
Well, I mean, I guess he was offering to sacrifice the Cackler to Brimstone Volley the Thundermaw.
Right, so if he swings 2 of them, then he's just throwing away a creature.
Right.
And unclear on what's happened here. It looks like the Cackler... Okay, sorry, so he did the 2 damage. Morton drew a card and passed back.
Yep. Sittner with 5 threats at this point. It's getting kind of tough at this point.
Yeah, so this is when Morton switched from offense to defense. I think this is one of the concerns, is that I'm not sure what it's going to take for Morton to be able to switch back to offense. These draws, if you give Sittner enough draws, he's going to draw burn spells.
Yes. Yeah, but Morton, either Mizium Mortars, Bonfire of the Damned, another Hellkite, Scavenging Ooze, possibly a Boros Reckoner.
So we see that play in a
Nice.
big blowout for Morton. It was the
Wow.
attack and then the Brimstone Volley, but it was Celestia Charm to keep the Thundermaw Hellkite alive.
Interesting. So Morton actually didn't block last turn, then
Drew the charm.
drew the charm and decided to, that he's going to go for the same play. Let's just,
Yeah.
Now his board is actually just better than it was previously.
Now, what do you think of Sittner? He went for the Brimstone Volley on the Thundermaw as opposed to going at Morton with it.
If he had attacked with all 5 of his creatures, or if he had attacked with just 4 creatures, I guess he would get 3 damage through, and the Brimstone Volley puts Morton to 1.
Yeah, so if he had one more land, he would have been able to activate Mutavault and try to go for a lethal there. But he didn't.
I think if he attacks with all his creatures too, there's a greater chance that Morton just flashes down a 2/2 to have an extra blocker.
Certainly. So we see from Morton a draw. He has a checking through. Looks like he's checking through his graveyard right now.
Yep. Yeah, Morton just has the 1 card in hand.
And he passes back. So Sittner, right? Both players kind of this standoff where neither player wants to commit a full attack.
Yeah, Morton really could use a Boros Reckoner.
All right, so Chandra's Phoenix is going to swing in. Remember, this Phoenix is paired with Stonewright, so on this block, Alex can go ahead and make it a 5/2, and that trade happens. That trade looks really good for Alex right now.
Yeah, it's a necessary one, but Morton really needs a good. There you go.
And that is a good draw. So that's Boros Reckoner for Josh Morton. And with Castic Wolfron, that's a pretty frightening clock.
Well, you can't really afford to attack yet. I mean, Morton's at a pretty precarious life total here, but what's interesting is you can Castic Wolfron your opponent's creatures.
Right. So if
if it comes to it, there's going to be the possibility that Morton Castic Wolf runs a creature that Boros Reckoner is fighting to blast Alex.
And now here's the dangerous part. We know Alex is a burn deck, and he used Geist Flame to get back Chandra's Phoenix. Is going to recast Chandra's Phoenix,
And pair again.
pair it with the Stonewright. It looks like it's going to go ahead and swing for 3. That puts Morton down to 5 life points.
Absolutely. Now, not only is he facing lethal from the Phoenix, he can't kill it or it'll just come back.
Yeah, and that's sort of the inevitability that the mono red deck has. We made the point there that if this game goes on long enough, the mono red deck will find a way to deal 5 points of damage. Morton makes a Voice of Resurgence, but right now has no answer to the flyer. And because it's paired with Stonewright, it is a lethal attack next turn. So to be fair, if he pumps it to a 5, it does open it up to Celestia Charm.
Interesting. So that's the bluff. Oh,
Okay,
he extends the hand.
hand there.
So that's game 1 to Alex Sittner. Hard-fought match.
Yeah. Close one there. We saw Morton's creatures, interestingly enough, they were able to outclass Sittner's creatures, but the problem was is that he was never able to turn that into... He was never able to go on the attack with his creatures. And he stabilized the board and eventually just got burned out.
Yep. Yeah, he needed just one more big creature, I think. Let's see, what is he boarding in? Morton has another Mizium Mortars, a Pillar of Flame, for sure 2 Unflinching Courages.
sure, yeah, so
that's going to be absolutely phenomenal.
So I'm trying to think of the cards that if he had drawn there, would have let him suddenly start attacking. And I agree, Mizium Mortars is great. If had he overloaded one there, his creatures would have been free to go. Unflinching Courage obviously would have been excellent too. He could put that on a Thundermaw Hellkite, and it's pretty hard for Alex to deal with it.
Yep, and then on the other side, Sittner has it'll be interesting to see if he actually goes the big plan. Does he want Thundermaws and Burning Earths?
Yeah, so Sittner, if you weren't with us yesterday, has a transformational sideboard. What he does have is he has 4 Burning Earths, 4 Thundermaw Hellkites, and 3 Devil's Play in his sideboard. I'm not sure if the Devil's Play is always coming
Along
in.
with 4 land. Yeah.
And the last part is 4 lands. So
3 Cathedral of War and 1 Mountain.
so he can take his 22 land game 1 deck and up it to a 26 land big red deck after board. And we did notice instead of adding mountains, he does add Cathedral of Wars, pretty much because it's he has as many mountains already as he needs. It's extra value. And we saw him use that to great effect. I believe it was against Jund yesterday.
Yep.
He lost game 1 on the Little Red plan and proceeded to win games 2 and 3 with the transformation.
Yeah, but against a Naya deck like this, it's not clear you can actually afford to slow down and decrease his threat density. We already saw in game 1, he won by just continuing to have gas, continuing to have cards that are impacting the game. If he had drawn 2 more land, might not have been as good a spot for him.
Yeah, well, what we noticed with Burning Earth yesterday is it's really at its best when a player's ahead on the board. And I think what we saw in game 1 was that Alex really is only ahead on the board from about turns 1 to 3. By around turn 4, it looks like it's going to switch where Josh will control the board. Alex will control the burn spells. But, around that turn where he'd cast Burning Earth, I'd say it's not a sure thing that you'd still have board control.
I do think that Burning Earth is more of a you want to be ahead when you're playing it in a 2-color aggro deck.
Sure.
When we have a situation where one person's mono red and the other one is almost is mono non-basic.
So it's just a burn spell. At that point.
I think the Burning Earth is probably going to be good enough that you just have to accommodate it. I'm not positive about the Thundermaw Hellkites, particularly since he knows that Morton has Celestia Charm, but I would definitely, at the very least, incorporate Burning Earth, which maybe it involves adding 1 land. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2. I suppose that's true. If you think about it, in the mono red deck, the Burning Earth is really just a very large burn spell.
Yeah, and that game went on long enough. Sittner could have played a Burning Earth on turn 4, and Morton would have been just paralyzed.
Yeah, he would have had 1 more play for the rest of the game, and that would certainly not be enough.
Yeah, so again, I think mono red has the edge, but if Morton gets a good curve, he can come out pretty aggressively, and he's got some big powerhouses like Boros Reckoner in particular, but also Huntmaster of the Fells, Luxodon Smiter, Thundermaw Hellkite, sometimes even Voice of Resurgence, depending on Sittner's draw.
Yeah.
Morton once again going to 6.
All right, Sittner will be keeping on 7.
I got to imagine last game could have been a totally different story too if Morton hadn't been down a card, but.
Well, yeah, had Morton, had an extra creature there, he could have left back the 2 creatures on defense, and the Thundermaw would have been free to attack, which really could have been the difference in the game.
Yeah, it was definitely a very close game. Now, these Naya decks do mulligan pretty well, so what he's really looking for is, ideally, a turn 1 Pilgrim or Arbor Elf, but in particular, he wants to get, as soon as he can, things like Smiters and Reckoners.
Yeah, so how important is the mana creature in this matchup?
Not that important, actually.
I was going to say, it seems like the cards that matter, were I the Naya player, I would really want Scavenging Ooze, Voice of Resurgence, Smiter, Reckoner. So it's just those really efficient creatures that grab a hold of the board early.
Yeah, just playing a tap land on turn 1, because if you play a shock land and then an elf, and then they shock your elf, you already shocked yourself.
Yeah, you shocked yourself. Yeah, I don't even know if you... Yeah, I'm not even positive you shock for the mana creature.
Yep.
Josh plays a turn 1 tapped shock land. Alex
Interesting. No 1-drop on a Sittner.
Yep, and we saw that actually yesterday. Sittner post board kept a lot of hands with no 1-drops. They were, more big red style hands. The Scavenging Ooze meets a shock. Sittner untaps and makes Ash Zealot, so he has the first creature to stick on the board, and he puts Josh down to 18. Oh, and Josh thinks here, okay, he revealed to Miracle the Bonfire, and then realized, wait.
And elects not to. Declare Miracle. I choose not to. It is a legal play.
Yep, so he has Scavenging Ooze, a second one turn 3, and now has the green mana to eat his own Scavenging Ooze. Still probably Alex swings. This is not the safest block for Josh right now. Ash Zealot does have...
Now that said, he does gain a life and draw the shock out, the instant speed burn spell out.
Right.
Because either way, if he wants to gain the life, he's not going to make his guy any bigger.
And he goes ahead and goes to 16, and Alex, after he realized he didn't need the burn spell, does play a post-combat Chandra's Phoenix.
Yep.
So I think in that situation, Josh has got to be pretty happy that he has a Scavenging Ooze still in play when he's seeing a Chandra's Phoenix on the other side.
Yeah, but I got a feeling that it's like a Searing Spear type of situation, and
So
it's
never going to grow
very
out of
temporary
range.
reprieve. Yeah. Wow, Josh on the offensive.
All right, so he puts Sittner down to 17. Yeah, that is an aggressive attack there. as Sittner has the possibility on board to swing 6 damage here, maybe more given the burn in his hand. So Sittner sends both Ash-Celt and Phoenix, leaves back the Mutavault, puts Josh down to 13, and on 4 mana plays Burning Earth against Josh's board of 4 non-basics.
That is going to be backbreaking.
Yeah, remember, you said Josh's deck with one basic in the entire deck?
Single basic. Yeah, now he does have 1 Ray of Revelation in his 75 in the event that he happened to, or 2 Oblivion Rings in the event that he happened to see it going this way. But at this point, what he really needs is a unflinching courage.
Yeah, he cast a Thundermaw Hellkite there, and he's going to go ahead and swing for 8. Now, granted, that
My
attack,
God!
Wow!
This is some of the most aggressive play I've seen.
That attack put him down to 8. I mean, your opponent has 6 damage on the board, and you're just like, yeah, okay, no, it's fine. Chandra's Phoenix, activate Mutavault. That's going to be 8. That should be... Josh, wait, checks his life total.
Oh.
Oh, hey, 8.
Yeah, because I think unflinching courage was what he was really hoping to do next turn, but ends up 1 turn behind.
And I think there's some life total discrepancy that they're going on here. We're not sure of life totals. I believe we had him at 8. I think Josh believed he was at 10. So...
Oh, he smiles. He realizes the damage he missed.
He missed it. Okay, so Alex Sittner does defeat Josh Morton 2-0.
Mono red defeating Damarade Naya.
I kind of like that Josh was so aggressive with his line. I think on that last turn, if he thinks he's at 10, I like that attack.
I don't know. I still think
it's close.
No, I don't know. I think at every point in the game I would have blocked when I had creatures available to block, and at every point in the game I would not have attacked with any creature I could, because I think that, like, after that first game, you already saw Alex's deck is so aggressive. Right. But that said, with unflinching courage, and even just the game before, there is a lot of possibility to finish Alex off in just a couple hits. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that it's definitely a lot closer when you believe you have that extra life point cushion. But you do want to make sure you have enough life for unflinching courage. I particularly liked in game 1 putting himself in that position so that if he just drew 1 more creature, he could make some progress and put Alex on a 2-turn clock.
Yeah.
Alex, meanwhile, continuing his mono-red rampage.
Yeah, he moves to 3-1. Remember, we have 8 rounds of standard today. So